Marvel's Avengers dies a not-so-heroic death, EA Sports FC 24 falls behind last year's FIFA, and Mortal Kombat 1 gets a dizzying first-person mode. I'm Ash Dixon, and this is GINX News. It sounds like every game exec's dream. Take one of the world's biggest franchises, bundle it all up into a games-as-a-service model, and watch the money print itself. That was the idea for Crystal Dynamics with their 2020 title Marvel's Avengers, but things didn't go quite to plan. In fact, just 3 years after launch, the game is officially dead in the water. While it's still playable for those that own it, it's been delisted from every storefront. You won't see any more updates or patches. It's a rather sad tale. While I was personally superheroed out like 8 years ago, a load of people were hyped for this one, but ultimately it was split into two. You had the main story, which saw you bounce between heroes and defeating baddies and some good old action fun, but once that's over, you're left with this live service looter mode, which didn't really make much sense. Yes, there were loot drops, but none were actual items you could wear or wield. Sure, they came bundled with stat boosts and abilities, but your hero remained visually boring and static, nullifying any sense of progression. That is, unless you're happy to pay for some cosmetics, which gamers famously love to do. Which begs the question, is the genre just dead? Perhaps we're bored of the same old superheroes, or maybe Insomniac proved that there is an audience. You just need to get it right. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. It looks like EA Sports FC 24 is struggling to match the physical sales of the last FIFA game. That's the case here in the UK anyway. The latest title still had a massive release, earning the second biggest physical launch of the year so far. That puts it behind Tears of the Kingdom, but ahead of Hogwarts Legacy. But despite the accolade, it's still down 30% compared to FIFA 23. And that's probably not the biggest surprise. FIFA games have existed for over 25 years, and suddenly dropping the branding was always going to have an impact, but EA will be hoping it's only for the short term. And arguably, a name change is rather small fry when it comes to other issues with the franchise. Let's be honest, as much as fans like to complain that they're essentially churning out the same game every year, millions of people buy it again and again. Nonetheless, we have seen a bump in sales over on the Switch, however. That's because EA Sports FC marks the Switch actually getting the same game as every other platform for once, as opposed to some rubbish legacy edition of last year's game. Overall though, it feels like the transition has gone as well as EA could have hoped, and some of the team here have certainly been having a laugh playing it. Let us know what you think down below. After dropping last week, millions of players have been sinking their teeth into CounterStrike 2, but as the dust settles on its release, it seems a load of CSGO's key features are missing, and fans are concerned. The biggest losses include entire game modes missing from the game, including Arms Race, Flying Scoutsman, and Danger Zone. Now, Arms Race maps have been leaked, hinting that it will make a return at some point, but who knows how long that will be. Plus, several competitive Wingman and Workshop maps are missing, and it's always going to suck if your favourite map is suddenly gone. But perhaps the biggest issue is that CS2 is currently unplayable on Mac. And while Mac users only account for a small percentage of players, there's still tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people who just can't play now, with zero word on when or if support will be returning. Now, this wouldn't be the end of the world if it launched like any other game. At least you could fall back on CSGO and enjoy everything over there. However, that's not the case. Instead, Valve decided to replace and update the CSGO Steam page with CS2, essentially erasing the ability to enjoy the previous game. And look, it's clearly not all bad news. CS2 also brings a load of updates to the table, like weapon refunds and overhauled graphics. It's just a shame that, as of right now, not everyone can enjoy it. Call of Duty is applying yet another layer of that clown makeup by introducing a whole new load of silly skins, this time from Diablo, Spawn, and He-Man. And I should have realized there was no going back after they added Nicki Minaj and a literal cat as operators, but hey, here we are. Now, to be fair to Activision, the new additions are for the upcoming Halloween-themed season, so the choices are somewhat fitting. From Diablo 4, we have the warring Lilith and Inarius. Meanwhile, Ash Williams joins from the Evil Dead, Skeletor from He-Man, and last but not least, we have Spawn, voiced by the incredible Keith David. And while it's easy to point and laugh at the silliness of it all, these things clearly sell as Activision keeps churning them out. And if anything, it's probably Blizzard who's begging for the recent additions. You only have to look at the woefully low Twitch numbers to see that Diablo 4 is faltering hard right now. So maybe they're hoping the new skins will remind everyone that, you know, the game exists. What do you think though? Are the skins in Call of Duty ridiculous, or is it forgivable considering it's an arcade shooter? Let us know in the comments down below. If Mortal Kombat 1's portions of blood and guts weren't generous enough already, well now you can see it up close and personal thanks to the new first-person mod. It's been added as part of Amasa's MK1 Hook plugin, which comes with a bunch of camera controls, and now you can enjoy getting motion sickness as you take part in a literal fight to the death. The whole thing is a rather hilarious new way to play, as dizzying as it is. The fatalities become particularly brutal when it feels like you're actually delivering them yourself, and it also gives me a new appreciation for some of the animations, like when Johnny Cage whips out his phone and takes a bunch of pics. And that's the show. Thank you for watching. As always, a like and subscribe would be delightful, and check out Friday's video right here. We'll see you tomorrow.